We are now here at the University of Pavia in Cremona, Italy, and I am speaking with Professor Massimiliano Guido, who has been one of the most important organizers from the Scientific Committee and Organizing Committee of the Department of Musicology that just hosted a very grand festival called the International Conference on the Harmonium. It's music, musicians, instruments, and their makers. And Professor Guido has agreed to describe what happened here and any remarks that he has that are relevant to the conference. The first question I have here is summarize what you hope to achieve for the conference from the perspective of your instrument collection, which is vast and I'll do a video later of all these instruments, and also taking into consideration the range of presenters who spoke and played here. I should add that this was very oriented toward Italy, but nevertheless, there were speakers who came in, scholars, performers who came in from Germany, France, Israel, and of course myself from the United States. So it was truly international. So just coming back to the question, which is, what is your summary of the goal of the conference, and what did you think you accomplished here?
Hi everybody, and thanks Artis for this opportunity to share with you all the work that we have done and that will be done also in the future. Everything started with a donation of 15 harmoniums and a sort of bunch of pianos, and we had to do something, and we are at a university. So as a university we have to do research, we have to do didactic, and we have to transfer the knowledge to people. So with some colleagues of mine, we thought that an international conference of the harmonium would have been the best opportunity to start in Italy a new deal of how to look at these instruments and how to tell the story of the instruments that were sort of neglected by the official musicology and history of music in the last decades. But we had this collection. So we thought, okay, let's do a conference, an international conference. Let's put together different experts and scholars and players from around the world. And of course, France has a very important role in the history, but also the North America, as Artis has shown us very well in her lecture recital. But it was focused on Italy because this was the first academic gathering that devoted to the harmonium. But let's have also some instruments, not only our collection, but try to have a temporary exhibition that can give a sense of the variety of this instrument in all the geographic and historical different layouts that one could imagine. And also let's try to reach out to the general public, because in Italy, when you think of the harmonium, it always related to church, a very small church in the countryside, sort of out of tune, nothing interesting. But around me we have an Alexandre that was an instrument used in rooms like this in Paris or in Italy. We have a Pleyel, which was the instrument that was sort of playing with the harmonium. So there are so many histories about the harmonium, and there is such a variety that we really wanted to have not only our collection but also some other instruments. So we looked for different private collectors or institutions such as museums or art galleries that were in the vicinity and that could share with us this madness. And the result is all around you, and I think we are really, really proud of what we have achieved so far.
Well, it's an amazing collection of instruments. Why do you think it's important to preserve these instruments and make information known about them like we did the past few days?
Yeah, every musical instrument is a piece of human history and is connected to so many different stories. The instruments, the people who struggled to get a sound out of a little language of metal, which is quite unbelievable. The refinement that they achieved, or the players and the composer who explore that new instruments and sort of thought how to cope with the big extension of dynamics that was able, and the aesthetic of composer like Franck, Debussy, Ravel, that we were used to approach only to orchestral works or to organ works, could also be better understood, I think, if we are immersed in what they were using. So harmonium, piano, organs, accordion. It's also an instrument that puts together the highbrow and the lowbrow of the community. It's a sense of making music together and to connect different part of the history. I think this is extremely important. And of course, we are the only university in Italy to have a master degree program in conservation and restoration of musical instrument. So for us, it's essential to know as much as we can about the instruments that our students will go to restore. They will be the only students allowed to operate on listed instrument from the stage. So for us, it's also a very strong pedagogical moment. This.
That's great. All right. So my last question is, again, coming back to the future for the harmonium in the larger world. I mean, here we're in academia, and it's a sort of a protected, elitist environment. And how do you think this could fare into the larger world?
We have organized concerts, we have organized actual recitals. During the exhibition here, you see that on some instruments there is a note. That means that I and my colleagues will play during the exhibition so that people around could listen to these wonderful instruments and get a sense. We organize also a workshop for composers to see how they can use in a modern way this kind of music tool. We can, of course, invent new ways of using all the instruments. That happen all the time. Or we can get new inspiration for writing music in the past, as they did in the past. So we hope that many people will get infected by this sort of enthusiasm that we have, because it's such a great opportunity also for our students, but for the town itself.
Yeah, right. Well, the instruments themselves are so beautiful as just objects. I mean, but in a way that's beside the point. But it's also part of the picture too.
I agree. I totally agree with you. I mean, when you go to the other room and you see the development of so many beautiful wooden columns, and they are sort of twisting around, it's really a taste of that era. And when you see all together the Régal, the Table, the Jean-Baptiste Micot, 1740s, and you go to Le Champignon, 1830s, and then you go to the Fourneau Napoleon, 1840s, you really see the change of the times, because everything that we do is connected. That's why we try to have also some paintings, but there is a wonderful painting by Matisse, International Harmonium, but it was so pricey to have it here that we sort of say, okay, I'll show you the slideshow that is a sort of, go to the other museum and see how a painter, a very famous painter, chose the harmonium to depict something that was the interior of an house. It was something that was confident with.
Well, I think this is really good. And I'm sure people will find what you have to say very interesting and informative. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here to present.
Thank you to you.
And for you to speak with me in such a fluent and full manner. One of the aspects of this conference is everybody speaks different languages.
Right.
and
that was a challenge.
We
right?
need a UN translator.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Professor
My pleasure.
Guido.
My pleasure.